Welcome to the MOTO Freak channel. Greetings to all viewers, subscribers, supporters. So to the point. The Powershift automatic gearbox is Ford's name for its dual-clutch transmission (DCT) system, similar in concept to Renault's EDC or Volkswagen's DSG. It was designed to offer the fuel efficiency of a manual gearbox with the convenience of an automatic. How it works. Like other DCTs, the Powershift uses two clutches, one for odd-numbered gears, first, third, fifth, reverse, and one for even-numbered gears, second, fourth, sixth. When one gear is engaged, the next anticipated gear is pre-selected on the other clutch. This allows for very fast and smooth gear changes because there's minimal interruption in power delivery during a shift. In which cars installed? The Powershift gearbox has been installed in various Ford and some Volvo models, due to Ford's previous ownership of Volvo. Ford models that famously used Powershift include Ford Fiesta, especially 2011 to 2016 models, Ford Focus, especially 2012 to 2016 models, Ford EcoSport, Ford Mondeo, Ford C-Max, Ford S-Max, Ford Galaxy, Ford Kuga, Ford B-Max, Ford Tourneo Connect, Transit Connect, Volvo models, older P3 platform with EcoBoost engines, Volvo S60, 2011 to 2015, Volvo V60, 2011 to 2015, Volvo S80, 2009 to 2015, Volvo V70, 2.0T, 2008 to 2015, Volvo XC70, 2.0T, 2008 to 2015, Volvo C30, 2.0T, 2008 to 2013, Volvo V40, 2012 to 2015. It's important to note that many newer Ford vehicles have reverted to traditional torque converter automatics or use updated wet clutch DCTs due to issues with earlier Powershift versions. Ford's Powershift gearboxes were primarily developed in a joint venture with GEARBOX Ford Transmissions. The main versions include 6-speed dry clutch Powershift, 6 DCT 250 DPS 6. This is the version that gained significant notoriety for problems. It was primarily used in smaller, lower torque applications like the Ford Fiesta, Focus, and EcoSport. Dry clutch means the clutches are not bathed in transmission fluid, which was intended to improve efficiency but led to heat and wear issues. Actuation was by electric motors and solenoids. 6-speed wet clutch Powershift, 6 DCT, 450 MPS, 6. This version uses clutches submerged in oil, offering better cooling and handling higher torque applications. It was generally fitted to larger Ford models with more powerful engines, such as the Mondeo, Kuga, and S-Max. These versions are generally considered more reliable than their dry clutch counterparts. 7-speed wet clutch Powershift, 7 DCT 300, a newer generation of Powershift with wet clutches, found in some Ford Fiesta and Puma models from MY 2020 onwards. This aims to address the shortcomings of earlier versions. Review and opinions. The Powershift gearbox has a highly polarizing reputation. Initial praise. When first introduced, it was lauded for its theoretical benefits: quick, seamless shifts and improved fuel economy compared to conventional automatics. Widespread problems and negative opinions. However, in real-world usage, particularly with the dry clutch 6 DCT 250 DPS 6 version, significant reliability issues emerged, leading to widespread dissatisfaction, multiple class action lawsuits, especially in the US and Australia, and buyback programs in some regions. Owners often describe it as a nightmare. Advantages. Fuel efficiency. Dual clutch design reduces power loss compared to traditional torque converters, leading to better fuel economy, up to 10 to 15% claimed. Fast shifts. Offers rapid gear changes, providing a more engaging or sporty feel when working correctly. Direct feel. Provides a more direct power transfer to the wheels, akin to a manual transmission. Compact design. Can be lighter and more compact than some traditional automatic transmissions. Disadvantages. Poor low-speed performance, the most significant drawback, particularly for the dry clutch version. It often leads to shuddering, jerking, hesitation, and clunky shifts in stop-and-go traffic or when pulling away from standstill. Reliability issues. The dry clutch version's DPS6 are notoriously unreliable, leading to premature clutch wear, mechatronic unit failures, and other internal problems. High repair costs. When issues arise, repairs can be very expensive, often requiring significant transmission overhaul or replacement. Perceived lag or delay. Some drivers report a delay or hesitation when asking for power, especially when transitioning from coasting to acceleration or junctions. Not suitable for heavy loads towing. The dry clutches are not designed for the same level of stress as wet clutches or torque converters, making them prone to overheating and premature wear under heavy load or prolonged low-speed use. Problems, faults, and breakdowns. The list of common problems with the Powershift, especially the dry clutch DPS6, is extensive. Shuddering jerking. This is the most common symptom, where the car shakes or shudders when accelerating from a stop or during low-speed gear changes, e.g., first to second. This is often due to clutch wear or faulty clutch actuators. Delayed engagement. Hesitation when shifting into drive or reverse. No drive loss of power. Complete failure where the transmission fails to engage gears. Clutch slipping. The engine revs increase, but the vehicle speed does not, indicating the clutches are not fully engaging. Transmission overheating. Particularly in heavy traffic, the dry clutches can overheat, leading to warnings, reduced performance, or limp mode. Mechatronic unit failure. This is the brain of the transmission, controlling the clutches and gear selection. It's a common point of failure, often requiring expensive replacement. Input shaft seal leaks. Known issue where transmission oil leaks onto the dry clutch pack, contaminating them and leading to premature wear and slipping. Broken torsion damping springs. Gen 1 clutch's early clutch designs had internal springs that could break, causing catastrophic damage to the clutch and sometimes the gearbox housing. Grinding noises, synchromesh failure, indicating wear in the gear synchronizers, especially in second, third, and fourth gears. Transmission malfunction service now, warning light, generic warning indicating a fault. Wiring harness issues. Damage to the internal wiring can cause various fault codes. Many of these issues stemmed from fundamental design flaws in the dry clutch system and its inability to handle real-world driving conditions, particularly heavy city traffic. Ford attempted various software updates and extended warranties, but for many owners, the problems persisted. History. Ford's involvement with dual-clutch transmissions began in the mid-2000s, collaborating with Getrag. The Powershift brand was introduced in Europe around 2008 to 2009, with the dry-clutch DPS6 becoming widely used in the Focus and Fiesta from the early 2010s in North America and other markets. Its troubled history, particularly in the U.S., led to numerous class action lawsuits starting around 2016, alleging that Ford knowingly sold defective transmissions. As a result of the negative reputation and ongoing issues, Ford largely phased out the problematic dry-clutch Powershift in many of its mainstream models, opting for more conventional torque converter automatics or introducing newer, wet-clutch DCT designs, like the 7DCT300, for specific applications. Oil and oil change. The oil requirements and change intervals for Powershift gearboxes depend critically on whether it's a dry clutch or wet clutch version. Dry clutch Powershift, 6DCT 250 DPS6. Oil type. These transmissions do not have a traditional transmission fluid that bathes the clutches. The gear train and differential sections typically use a specific manual transmission fluid, MTF, or a specialized gear oil, while the mechatronic unit, TCM and actuators, might have its own small, sealed fluid reservoir, hydraulic oil. The dry clutches themselves operate without fluid. Oil change. Ford initially marketed these as sealed for life units, implying no fluid changes were needed. However, the gear oil in the gearbox portion does degrade and can be changed. There isn't a universally recommended interval from Ford for this, but many independent specialists recommend changing the gear oil every 60,000 to 100,000 kilometers, 40,000 to 60,000 miles, to ensure proper lubrication of the gears and bearings. The mechatronic unit's fluid is typically not serviceable. Important note: the oil leak problems associated with the dry clutch power shift often refer to leaks from the input shaft seals that allow gear oil to contaminate the dry clutches, which is a significant issue and requires clutch and seal replacement. Wet clutch power shift, 6 DCD, 450 MPS 6, and 7 DCD 300. Oil type: these transmissions require a specific dual clutch transmission fluid, DCDF. This fluid lubricates the gears, cools the clutches, and operates the hydraulic mechatronic unit. Using the correct fluid that meets Ford specifications or GETRAG specification for the particular unit is paramount. Examples of suitable fluids include those that meet Ford's WSS M2C936, a specification. Oil change: unlike the dry clutch versions, oil changes are crucial and mandatory for wet clutch power shift gearboxes. The fluid degrades over time due to heat and shear, and contaminants from clutch where can accumulate. Recommended interval: Ford's recommended intervals can vary, but generally, it's advised to change the DCDF and filter, if applicable, every 60,000 kilometers, 37,500 miles, or 3 to 4 years, whichever comes first. For vehicles subjected to heavy use, e.g., frequent towing, sustained high temperatures, heavy city traffic, shorter intervals might be advisable. Always consult your vehicle's owner's manual or a reputable Ford dealership specialist for the precise oil type and service schedule for your specific power shift transmission. Using the wrong fluid or neglecting fluid changes can lead to severe and costly damage. Thank you for watching the video, and I invite you to subscribe to the MOTO Freak channel. Greetings to everyone, and see you in the next episode. See you soon.